Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Vault, and we're finally gonna get into my DVD collection. And according to Blu-ray.com, which is how I catalog my physical media collection, I have over 300 DVD titles. So this video may be split up into at least two parts. Without further ado, let's get started. And since I catalog my movies alphabetically, we will be starting with the A and so on. Let's see how far we could go. First up is 200 Cigarettes. This movie just has a bunch of people, and they're all here too on the back. And I guess this is why I bought this movie. Not a great movie. So yes, it's 11:59 on New Year's Eve. Do you know where your date is? And I guess this movie just bounces back and forth between stories, between people walking the city on New Year's. One of the things I remember most about this movie is Martha Plimpton being like alone in her apartment on New Year's. Either no one's coming to her party, something along those lines. Christina Ricci is like an annoying Rosie Perez type of character, just really loud. And this is like a soundtrack movie where the soundtrack is probably more memorable than the actual film. But here we go. It's part of my collection. I mean, I do like the look, the yellow, the idea, the title, and this was like 99, my time. MTV Films. So do they even make movies anymore? 200 Cigarettes. ATL. Now, I did this recently because I found this at the Goodwill. So I just realized that the brother, T.I.'s brother in this is Evan Ross. It's just a coming of age film where T.I.'s brother runs with the wrong crowd with a big boy from Outkast. And they're part of a roller skating clique. And this is a fun watch from the mid-2000s, ATL. Now, I've talked about Joan Cusack and how underrated she is, and she kills it in this movie and Addams Family Values. Wednesday and Pugsley are sent to summer camp while Joan Cusack is hired as the nanny and falls in love with Uncle Fester. Fester falls in love with her, and she's just taking him to the cleaners. Joan Cusack as Debbie. Miss Debbie. The scenes with Wednesday and Pugsley at the camp are really hilarious too, with the Thanksgiving play, Addams Family Values. The Adventures of Milo and Otis is our next film, and I used to love watching this as a kid, along with The Bear. I think I have The Bear in my collection, so I'll bring it out eventually. This is a cute one. Talking animals is always fun, and this is on Blu-ray, and I used to watch this as a kid, so I don't really revisit this one too much, but I know it's still a very cute movie, The Adventures of Milo and Otis. Along Came Polly with Jennifer Aniston and Ben Stiller. Hysterical. Just like it says there, it's freaking hysterical, this movie, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it. What does he say? Down the hole, in the bag. I don't know. He's trying to make a basket and he can't shoot for shit. And what I love about this movie is because I guess they're old friends in high school or something, so they reconnect and they're trying to set a date. And Jennifer Aniston is always like, yeah, okay, Monday, but wait, no, I don't know about Monday. I don't know. And I'm like, I'm always doing the same thing. Like, yeah. No, maybe not. Maybe tomorrow, And then when they go out to the restaurant, he eats spicy foods and he sweats. I mean, this movie is so funny. I don't hear too many people talking about this one, but they should. Along Came Polly. Great opening where his wife cheats on him with the scuba instructor, okay, and then they link up, and I like this one better than Meet the Parents. Meet the Parents did spawn the sequels, but I like this one better. Along Came Polly. The Amityville Horror. Well, I used to think of this as one of the scarier movies, and I still do. It's still pretty scary, and I like this one over the remake with Ryan Reynolds. I don't like that one. I don't know, just a lot of creepy things about this movie, and it has a bunch of sequels that I really don't bother with. I've seen a few of them, 2, so on and so forth, but this is a really good one right here. And this is with Margot Kidder, right? Margot Kidder and James Brolin. The Amityville Horror, a classic here. Just released on 4K is Animal House. So this one is from the good old DVD days with a booklet and everything. You know, Universal Collector's Edition. Documentaries, commentaries, behind the scenes. There was an edition even before this one that kind of had the yellow original poster, but that was bare bones. So this one was the one to get. Universal Collector's Edition DVD. Animal House with John Belushi, Tim Matheson, Donald Sutherland. Would you like to smoke some pot? The Bad News Bears, Walter Matthau. This movie's pretty racist for a PG film, but it's still a funny movie. This was eventually remade by Richard Linklater. I never got around to seeing it, but I loved the original, Bad News Bears. Basic Instinct 2. So I think this movie is pretty underrated. A sequel that came 20 years later. People make fun of this movie, but I like it, and it takes place in England. And just, if you like the original, open your mind and be open to this one, that it's not a rehash of the original. It's a new story, and I like it. Basic Instinct 2. Along with Milo and Otis, here is The Bear. So this is actually, I think, a French film, but it's pretty much a silent movie. You just follow the bear along as he go, in the woods and eating fish, and this is a good one. So along with Milo and Otis, I'll have to just do a rewatch, or I used to watch this all the time as a kid. It's on Blu-ray, never got around to grabbing it, so here you go, The Bear. Beavis and Butthead Do America is the next movie, and I will be sure to link my Beavis and Butthead Complete Collection video where I go through the TV series, the Time Life DVDs. And I might as well show you this because I showed you this in the Beavis and Butthead video, the Haha for Hollywood, but I also forgot to show you this one, Encyclopedia. So I just wanted to, show you this real quick because I forgot to do it in that previous Beavis and Butthead video. They would, during the heyday of Beavis and Butthead, they really, look at this. They released, these books. So this is the Encyclopedia. I guess you got the evolution theory there. So, just another, more Beavis and Butthead memorabilia. So I will be sure to link up my Beavis and Butthead video. There you go. Alright, now we're going to go into hipster territory here, Before Sunset. Now, every fucking college person on earth loves the Before trilogy for some reason. Let me just get this out of the way. Before Midnight was horrible, but this one, I really liked this one. So, yeah, I grabbed onto this one, and this one is short. I don't even think this is 80 minutes long. I haven't watched them in such a long time. The first one, Before Sunrise, and then this one. Both of those are better than Before Midnight. I mean, Before Midnight was so bad. I'm not even kidding. So, I'm never going to get that Before trilogy. And yeah, I don't know why people love the Before trilogy so much. I mean, I don't get it. It's cool. It was fine, but it's not something I look to when I think of just romance films, or if anything, the first one, because it was so different of them just walking and talking and doing nothing. So I'm guessing that's where the obsession for these films come in. But after Before Midnight, you lost me there, buddy. I would have bought the double feature Blu-ray. You lost me with Before Midnight. So here's Before Sunset, the sequel in the Before trilogy. So another HBO classic was Big Bully, Tom Arnold and Rick Moranis. So people always forget to name, I forget to name this Rick Moranis film too. I always love these snap cases. I like them personally. This one, along with Carpool House Arrest. These were just fun, stupid 90s movies. So this is another one. Imagine Big Bully. Tom Arnold used to pick on him, and now they gotta make it happen in the real world. One of my absolute favorite Will Ferrell movies is Blades of Glory here. This one is hilarious. And I love that special move that they're gonna do, and then they have to watch the video first of the Japanese people doing it, and they get decapitated. It's like they do it so well, and then like the head just falls off. So this one is so funny. I love this one more than Anchorman, and I can't even make it through Talladega Nights. Like, I tried watching it recently, and I'm like, man, I still can't do it. But this one I can. And Amy Poehler, she kills it in this one as well. So, man, really fun. And this guy's okay too. Blades of Glory. The scariest movie of all time. It has to be for me, along with Chainsaw Massacre. But since this one I saw in the theater when it came out, that one was the one that really scared the shit out of me. And with this movie, you either love it or you hate it. So when I saw this in the movie theater with my sister, she hated it. And a lot of people do hate this movie, like I say, but love it or hate it. The people that get it, get it. And then if you don't get it, you don't get it. I like the disc art here. This was like the original poster. If I ever find this original like double-sided theatrical poster, I'm gonna get it. I mean, this one's okay, but you see her like snot face in this one, so the Blair Witch Project. And then the sequel, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Another one where it's bad. It's so bad. I don't know if it's so bad it's good, but I like sequels that take a chance, do something different. And this one is pretty different. Blair Witch was such a smash hit. You expected the same thing, but no, this one was really different. It's meta. That's what it is. It's meta. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Pretty underrated. Now, I kind of have a funny little story about this. At least with seeing it in the theater. We were so like excited to see this movie, and we got some what we thought was good bud, and it was a total bust. How can you enjoy the movie when you were looking forward to, baking beforehand? But yeah, I guess this is a good movie. I haven't seen it in so long, but I remember people used to really love this one back in the day. So blow. Now I did the Peanuts DVD collection, so here is Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, and Don't Come Back. But I must say, I like the previous one, which is Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, which you'll eventually see. These have been re-released on Blu-ray, which I have not double dipped, but I don't know if it comes with a slipcover here, so this is a nice one. Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, and Don't Come Back. I love the animation from the 70s, or this is probably 80, but still the 80s is the 70s, And even the Peanuts movie was okay, but that's because of the story. The story was good. It felt like old Peanuts, even though it looked like new Peanuts. Speaking of Peanuts, we got Boogie Nights, baby. The DVD, this was like the second release. Didn't they have the bare bones release with the original poster? But this is the special edition, 2-disc DVD special edition. I think this movie just as good as Pulp Fiction, as far as that mid-90s 2.5 hour star-studded cast. I knew someone who hadn't watched this film, and every time I was just like, did you watch Boogie Nights yet? Did you watch Boogie Nights yet? Did you watch Boogie Nights yet? So I love this one. And that friend actually loved watching Raging Bull. So when I finally saw Raging Bull, I was like, oh my god, the ending to Boogie Nights is Raging Bull. And I had no idea because I saw Boogie Nights first. So there you go. Boogie Nights. A movie about making movie comedy classic. Maybe my favorite Eddie Murphy movie is Bowfinger. Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. Man, one of my favorite lines in this movie, because Steve Martin wants to make a movie, so he's trying to get everybody together, and he shows Jamie Kennedy that he has $2,000 saved up. And Jamie Kennedy's like, what are you talking about? Movies cost millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to make. And Steve Martin's like, that's after net point profit. Every movie costs $2,000. So all you independent filmmakers out there, keep that in your head and watch this movie. The con is on in Bowfinger. So, man, when Michael Moore had it poppin', he did in Bowling for Columbine, along with Fahrenheit 9/11, Roger and Me. That's probably his good trilogy there. He made a few others, but I kind of stopped paying attention after this one. This one is pretty good, so maybe I'll have to watch it again in the future. Really sad ending, you know, because of the Columbine massacre. So this has to do with guns in America. There you go, Bowling for Columbine. Another from the Peanuts gallery without a slipcover was A Boy Named Charlie Brown. I just got this to get the collection. This one and Snoopy Come Home are probably the lesser favorites, because those ones seem to be just like segments, like cartoons put together in a movie, whereas Race for Your Life and Bon Voyage are like brand new stories. At least that's how it comes across to me. And I think, look, this one is when in doubt, spell it out. So this one has the alphabet song, which goes on for far too long. But that's what you get in these old movies. I think this is late 60s, if I'm not mistaken. So here you go, A Boy Named Charlie Brown. The Brady Bunch movie is next, from 1995. Shelley Long, Gary Cole, Christine Taylor. I just did this one in my VHS collection. I have this on VHS, so I must have rebought, you know, I bought the DVD later on down the line. And I think that the sequel, A Very Brady sequel, is much better than the original. But this one has some pretty good things too. But I also want to show you, since, you know, I told you I really liked the Brady Bunch. So I have this book from way back when, was Brady Mania, the 25th anniversary edition. So, yes, look at all that. All Brady stuff. One thing was cool in here. They had like the blueprint of the house. Here it is. Like, they have like, you know, that was really cool there. Man, I tell you, I was a Brady kid, man. I'm telling you. And, you know, you can mark down the episodes and trivia and all this stuff. So I guess when the movie came out, you know, I was really... But I remember just watching the network reruns, the TV movies and all of that. So, you know, Brady Mania. I was really into it, man. We got a classic right here. Bully from Larry Clark. I love this movie. So this is from the director of Kids from 1995, and this was his follow-up, Bully, with Brad Renfro, Bijou Phillips, Nick Stahl, the guy from Mean Girls, the gay guy, Danny something. This is a true story. It takes place in South Florida, and it's a very messed up movie, but I highly recommend this one. I mean, I cannot say enough things about this one. It is such a gritty, dirty movie. Like Kids. If you remember Kids from 1995, which is about all the kids having sex in New York City. So this is about kids murdering their friend in South Florida. And yeah, this is such a good movie. And I'm telling you, it's hardcore, but it is... I don't really know what else I can say about this movie, is that you just got to watch this. From 2001, Larry Clark's Bully. Another kid classic, Bushwhacked. I used to love watching this one on HBO, man. And I was in the Boy Scouts like for a little bit, but even if you're not in the Boy Scouts, you feel like you are. What's up with this disc? I don't know. Maybe it's a double-sided disc. With Daniel Stern from Home Alone. I don't know how he gets to take care of these kids. I gotta rewatch this one. I always used to love watching Bushwhacked. A horror classic, 90s classic, Candyman. Along with Scream and Blair Witch is probably my top 3 horror films of the 90s. So they were trying to make this one like another Silence of the Lambs. So, and it's still that's how it comes across now. You know, as time passes on, people think this movie is actually boring, and you know, it's just that it's dated, but if you look at it like Silence of the Lambs, I think you'll still get something out of this because it's about Helen. She's doing her thesis on urban legends and, you know, goes to Cabrini Green to find the Candyman. Such a good movie, and there's some really nasty parts in this one too. The ending, I'll be honest, the ending is where it sort of loses me with the bonfire and people coming out to the bonfire. But man, up until that point, there's really good stuff here. And I guess just like with anything over time, if you didn't see this back in the day and you see it today, then yeah, it might not hit you. But this one hit me back in the day, and it could still hit me today. This is a really good movie, Candyman. Care Bears Movie 2, A New Generation. I bought this at Big Lots in my recent Big Lots video, so don't remember too much about this movie except the witch's face in the book, and they close the book and we care. That's all I remember. Kid classic, the Care Bears. I love them. Carrie. So I remember always hearing about this as a kid, and you know, this one was the slow one, where you're watching it and you're just waiting for something to happen and nothing happens until the end. But everything up until that point is great filmmaking, great acting, great story, a real life high school bullying story. I try to recommend this one as often as I can. The remake, forget about it. Not even Julianne Moore's performance. It's worth watching. Just watch the original. Killer score from Pino Donaggio. I love watching this one. And a great Blu-ray from Arrow. Man, they I think the overseas Blu-ray, because I didn't buy the Scream Factory one. I have the Arrow Blu-ray, and I was watching that, and just like the prom scene, the colors, so awesome and incredible how good it looked. From Stephen King and Brian De Palma, Carrie. Cassandra's Dream, a pretty underrated Woody Allen movie, and you know, this is where Woody Allen goes into the crime, drama, suspense. The only thing I remember about this movie is Ewan McGregor and Colin Farrell steal from their parents. That's kind of just all I remember about this movie. I remember liking it, and but the reviews are just so-so on this one. So here you go, Cassandra's Dream. The Criterion Collection of Chasing Amy on DVD. Now, I love this one. Maybe Kevin Smith's best work as far as like that original 4-film. So you got even a cool booklet here. Blunt Man and Chronic. Yes, I like this one. Ben Affleck, Joey Lauren Adams, and Kevin Smith's Chasing Amy. Closer. A sex. That's all I know about this movie. Sex, and then Julia Roberts like says some freaky shit in the movie. You know, I don't want to spoil it here, but yeah, sex and freaky stuff. If you like sex and freaky stuff, make sure to put this on your list. Closer. Another one of those movies that, I don't know, Cold Creek Manor. It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad movie either. This one plays on HBO all the time. I don't know about this one. They just go to this small town, and then the small town, I guess, wants to kill them. I don't know. I used to love watching this one. Karina, Ray Liotta, Whoopi Goldberg, and Tina Majorino. Is she in Napoleon Dynamite? I'm not too sure. Yes, they hire Whoopi Goldberg as the housekeeper, and then she loses her name is Molly, not Karina. Karina is the housekeeper, and then her daughter, Ray Liotta, loses his wife. So the daughter Molly is without a mother. So Whoopi Goldberg is basically the mother replacement. A lot of funny scenes in this movie, like when she's driving in traffic and blowing at the lights, like, and it changes. So this is a cute movie, Karina. Okay, now they just came out with the terrible sequel, but here is the original, The Craft. One of my favorites here. I love this one. Yeah, I have the Sony Blu-ray, which, man, I watched it recently, and the sound is incredible on that one. So yes, if you've never seen the original Craft, this is a good witch movie. So this is a fun one to watch, The Craft. Cruel Intentions, another high school classic here. Everyone loved this one in high school. Another sex, high school sex movie. They don't make those anymore. Sex is bad now. So, and this is a retelling of Dangerous Liaison, Cruel Intentions. The Crush with Alicia Silverstone, another one of these hot, crazy chick. She's in love with the roommate or neighbor who lives in the guest house, and that's it. And then a famous scene where the carousel's in the attic, and cool poster, right? The Crush. George Romero's Day of the Dead. Now, the only thing I watched and prefer Night of the Living Dead, the original, over this one and Dawn of the Dead. And really what I only know about this movie is like the hello, is anyone out there? Because the Gorillaz sampled that on their first album. So I always knew of that Gorillaz stuff, that Gorillaz song, before I ever watched this. And then I was like, oh, that's the Gorillaz. So there you go. All right, guys, we're heading into the D's, and now we're finally getting to possibly my favorite movie of all time, Dazed and Confused. So this is the Bare Bones DVD. Now I like how this is in color here because I think the original poster is in black and white. So you have some stills here, and this is usually how Universal DVDs used to look with the inserts. So some pretty cool pictures there. And then I have the Criterion 2-disc DVD here. Great film. And oh man, I have like so much stuff from this. I have the soundtrack. Both soundtracks. There are two, Volume 1 and Volume 2. So I guess that's a pretty cool picture to open up on. And yeah, this is starting to become a classic, just like Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Animal House. This movie plays on TV even. So everyone loves Matthew McConaughey as Wooderson. And here I wanted to show you too this Dazed and Confused like scrapbook, and this was released when the film was released in the theater. And this is like my second copy of this because I actually had this like as a kid, and I remember I doodled all over it, scribbled and all sorts of stuff. So I was like, man, this is a really good souvenir to have. So I rebought it, and yeah, this is just a bunch of stuff. Really, really cool. Especially if you love the movie just as much as I do, you should pick this up, the Dazed and Confused scrapbook. Okay, probably one of my first Woody Allen films, Deconstructing Harry. Yeah, this is another one with like an all-star cast. Robin Williams, Demi Moore, and it's also like vignettes throughout his life. I think this movie is about him having a writer's block. So, and also a very good scene with Kirstie Alley in here. So yeah, I really enjoy watching this one, Deconstructing Harry. So I showed you in the Best Picture collection, but here is Deliverance with Burt Reynolds and Jon Voight. Squeal Like a Piggy. So one of the great 70s, gritty 70s movies. So with a great ending here, where at least the hand comes up out of the water, and yeah, action, adventure, horror, thriller, Deliverance. But we got here a double feature of Deranged and Motel Hell from the Midnight Movies. So yes, I've had this for a while, and I know Deranged is like about Ed Gein, or one of those serial killer, keep the dead mother in the house. Motel Hell is the comedy horror Farmer John's Fritters. Not really familiar with either of these movies, but I have seen them once or twice. So yeah, I probably bought this off of just like a blind buy. You know, someone says you gotta buy this, then I did. So here it is, Deranged and Motel Hell. Now this is one from back in the day, Detroit Rock City, the New Line Platinum series. So this was like the pinnacle of DVD. You know, really cool stuff. And like I say, I like the snap cases here. So you got Edward Furlong. So, not too many people mention Edward Furlong's performance in this, or they're always mentioning T2, Pet Sematary 2, but you got Detroit Rock City, and Pecker, which I have in my collection, is another good one. There's a few other people in this one too, but I can't name them. So it's just about these guys trying to go to a Kiss concert. So I recommend this movie, and I love that poster art there. That painted, looks like a 70s movies, but this came out in 99, I believe. So you got Detroit Rock City. Now we're going into probably what I think is, one of the last great American horror films, and that's Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects. Yeah, man, this was the best. Even though it's like not a retelling, but it feels like Texas Chainsaw and Last House on the Left combined. That's how this movie feels like. It's really cool right there. Yeah, and it has a very Western look to it. I mean, just this was a really, really good movie. And, I don't think Rob Zombie ever was able to match this again. Like, his movies are just not as memorable as this. I mean, he was on point with this one. So, here you go. Rob Zombie's best movie, The Devil's Rejects. Now, to show you, I don't think remakes are essentially a bad thing, we got Diabolique. Now, I really liked this movie back in the day. I had a thing with Sharon Stone. I would always watch her movies. So, yes. And I remember thinking this was just like a weird, creepy... I had no idea about the original back in the day. It wasn't until years and years later, once I figured out Criterion Collection, what this was. So, that's why, I mean, people consider this a terrible movie, but... when you had someone like me as a kid, I didn't know the French Diabolique film. This was the closest thing. I liked this, and then when you finally come around to the original, I'm like, oh, I almost like the Sharon Stone version. And also J.J. Abrams is in this too, which is so weird. So here you go, Diabolique. One of my favorites from back in the day was Disturbing Behavior with Katie Holmes. And this was just like a weird sci-fi invasion of the body snatchers type of movie. So along with, I much preferred this film over The Faculty, even though The Faculty was more like Aliens. This one was just really weird, and it had that Flagpole Sitta song in the previews, so the previews just ran all the time. So yeah, I really like this one. This is an underrated one. Disturbing Behavior. Another underrated horror movie slasher film, Dr. Giggles. A silly movie, but it's good nonetheless. These cheesy 90s horror films. But this one came out in the theater, I do believe. So yeah, this one is always pretty good to watch, Dr. Giggles. Okay, a blaxploitation classic is Dolomite. Now, I did upgrade to the Vinegar Syndrome, which is fantastic Blu-ray release. But before they released that, this was Dolomite on whatever DVD version this is. I usually talk about this one all the time, which is Dolores Claiborne with Kathy Bates and Jennifer Jason Leigh. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, Stephen King film. Way better than Misery as far as Kathy Bates' performance, as far as I'm concerned. A really dark, bleak movie. Dark subject matter. Highly recommend this one, Dolores Claiborne. So I just brought this out in my VHS collection, and I upgraded to DVD. Was Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter is Dead. Talked about all the fun memories I had. That's a pretty cool, that would be a cool poster right there. Just that. So yeah, I loved watching this. Still love watching this one from back in the day with Christina Applegate and Joanna Cassidy from Blade Runner. Another Brian De Palma sort of remake. This is kind of like Psycho, Dressed to Kill. So I have the Criterion Blu-ray, and yeah, with Angie Dickinson, and I think Michael Caine is in this. Drop Dead Fred with Phoebe Cates and Carrie Fisher. I don't know what that guy's name is, but yeah, man, this is such a funny movie about her imaginary friend who comes back and, you know, starts to wreck her adulthood. So, yeah, Drop Dead Fred. Dumb and Dumber, Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey. Greatest scene is when Jeff Daniels takes a dump. Such a classic scene, and yeah, probably one of Jim Carrey's better movies is Dumb and Dumber. Elf with Will Ferrell. This movie is hilarious, but I haven't seen it in such a long time. All right, so we got 3 Exorcist films here. We got the original Exorcist, which I don't think I've ever upgraded this to Blu-ray, so this is still the only edition I have, and still looks pretty good, still holds up pretty well. The original Exorcist, Ellen Bernstein, Linda Blair, Max von Sydow. Now I am missing The Exorcist 2, which is kind of underrated, so bad it's good, but I do have The Exorcist 3. I don't know, is this movie overrated? People like this movie, but it just doesn't hit me all that much. Brad Dourif is in this, and then George C. Scott. I don't know. Every time I watch this movie, I'm just like, yeah, and then you're always hearing like, yeah, The Exorcist 3 is great, and it's good, but it's not the original. And then I found this at the Big Lots, which was Exorcist The Beginning. Don't have much to say about this movie, you know. Classic here, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which was just released on Criterion, I believe. Have not picked it up. Maybe I should hold out for a 4K. There was some talk about the Criterion transfer as compared to the Universal Blu-ray. And look, this doesn't have a big fold-out like Animal House did. Love this movie. Another Phoebe Cates, Jennifer Jason Leigh, what's his name? Sean Penn. Forrest Whitaker. So high school classic, another sex high school teen comedy that they don't make anymore. So you gotta go with this one, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So horror classic from when I was in high school, Final Destination with Devon Sawa and Ali Larter, I believe. So yeah, this started it all, baby. So taking the plane and getting off the plane before it crashes, and then death coming to chase you. So here is the original Final Destination. I'm missing part 2, but I loved Final Destination 3 with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So yeah, this has the opening roller coaster, and there's some other ones in here. The drive-through kill, the wait kill. So this is a fun one to watch, Final Destination 3. Finding Nemo, I have seen a few times. It's cute, but this was my sister's. You got a lot of special features here. So yeah, I may have seen this once or twice, and then just grabbed it to have it in the collection. So yeah, there you go. Finding Nemo. What is this? It's like it's telling you how to access the DVD. The Fog with John Carpenter. Not as good as Halloween, but people like this one. And I guess that's why I never upgraded to Blu-ray, because I think this one I bought back in the day off of the strength of The Fog. It's John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis. And I think just for that reason, it's worth watching. But yeah, I don't know about this movie. It's on the sea and very boring. I don't know. Maybe it'll hit me one day, but it never did. I like this one, For Your Consideration. So this is from the guy who made Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show, Christopher Guest. Hilarious. Catherine O'Hara is just so underrated, along with Joan Cusack. So you gotta see it. Just for that sarcastic, dry, it makes me want to see it again. So For Your Consideration. Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know. Do people hate on this movie, or you know what it was? It was just that there was so much hype with Freddy vs. Jason, and so many rumored plots over the years, and then I guess when what you really have here is not as good as those rumored plots. But I remember seeing this twice in the theater, and Freddy has some good one-liners in this one, so pretty underrated here. Freddy vs. Jason. All right, one of my very first and favorite chick flicks was Fried Green Tomatoes. Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe, based on the book from Fannie Flagg. Just a chick flick. There you go. So the 2-disc special edition of From Dusk Till Dawn, and I believe I bought this because it has the Full Tilt Boogie documentary. So yeah, this is such a gory movie. I love the I don't know if they're a mariachi band, but the band that plays with like the dead bodies. So this movie is so gory, and like at the end when everyone gets killed at the what is that place called, the Titty Twister, or Bloody Pussy, Smelly Pussy From Dusk Till Dawn. Here we go. A disturbing one was Funny Games. Now this is the remake with Naomi Watts and Tim Roth. So yeah, I was kind of like obsessed with this back in the day when it came out in like 2010. I have seen the original, but it's the same thing, same director. It's literally a shot by shot. So yeah, I remember watching this in the theater, and some old people, I don't mean to say old, some elderly people were like, what was that? That was awful. And I was like, oh no, I kind of liked it. So sometimes elderly people will just walk into a movie. I seen them do it in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. That's another story. And they did it in this one in Funny Games. So I'm surprised she made it though. She was just like, that was awful. How could you watch that? That was terrible. So yeah, disturbing. Funny Games. Now I brought this out in the Big Lots, which was Go. I don't remember this one either, except it's just a 90s type of movie. Gone with the Wind. Now I have talked about this many times, and I think I've showed you this and the Blu-ray. So here you go. Gone with the Wind. I really like this one. Good Night and Good Luck. I brought this out in the Best Picture one. So yeah, this is the Edward R. Murrow trying to stop the blacklisting in Hollywood. So boring but good. I love those boring movies like this one. Good Night and Good Luck. Directed by George Clooney. This one kind of never hit me either, Good Will Hunting, but it's a classic, so that's why I have it here. And you got this old Miramax collector series here. So, one of these days I'll have to do it. Again, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's big hit, Good Will Hunting with Robin Williams. I brought this out in the Best Picture. Was Gosford Park by Robert Altman. A murder mystery that I still haven't seen, with an all-star cast. Maggie Smith, Ryan Phillippe, just off the top of my head. Grease 2, since I brought that out in the VHS. Just another musical. The sequel to Grease, everyone hates this, but it's not as bad as they make it out to be. So just get over that it's not the original, and you will enjoy Grease 2. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Now I'm tapping out as far as my DVD collection. This is going to be part 1, and I'll make sure to return with part 2. So in the meantime, give this video a thumbs up, a thumbs down, subscribe, comment, and share, and I'll see you in the next one.